Hello student, today we are going to have a discussion on Introduction to Data Structure. I am Sandhya Thakkar, Assistant Professor with the Department of IT and Mathematics, SI College of Higher Education. The objective of today's lectures are Introduction to Data Structure, Concept of Data Type, Classification of Data Structure, Description on Data Structures, Operations performed on Data Structures, and at end we will be having introduction to algorithm and complexity of algorithm. Now to begin with, before starting the discussion on data structure and its type, it would be better to understand what data is and how it is important for any decision making process. Data is valuable raw material which can be in a different form such as numbers, alphabets, etc. When data is processed, that is organized, structured and presented in a meaningful context so that it becomes useful for decision making and understanding. It becomes information. For a layman, data and information are interchangeable terms, but in technology, no conclusion can be drawn from data. Information play a vital role in decision making, which is obtained from data. So, indirectly we can say that data is important entity for decision making. One deals with data constantly, but how we store, organize or group our data together matters. Now look at this particular PPT which shows you introduction to data structure. If you look at the PPT, you can see there is an English dictionary, there is a city map, and there is some cache book which you can see over here. Now, we can find out a word instantly from a language dictionary because words in the dictionary are organized. But if the words were not sorted, it would be so difficult searching a word from the dictionary. Thus, dictionary is organized as sorted list of words. So we can say that dictionary is what? A sorted list of words. Additional example is that of a city map also. The data like the position of the landmarks and road network connections. All the data is systematized in the form of geometrics on two-dimensional plane. You can see two-dimensional plane so that we have scales and directions to locate landmarks and routes for navigation. One more example is your daily cash in and cash out statements of a business, which is also called as a cash book in accounts. So data structure is essential constituent in computer science for designing and developing effective software systems. So, let's look at the definition part. So, when we talk about the definition of the data structure, it is a way of structuring the data in computer's memory so that it can be used efficiently. Let's try to understand this definition in our further explanations. Now, what are the concept of data structures? Now, when we talk about the concept of data types, there are two types of data types which we can see. One is primitive data type and another one is abstract data type. So, what is a primitive data type? Primitive data types are also called as predefined or basic data types. These data types may be different for different languages. And then there is another concept called as abstract. Now when we talk about the abstract emphasizes essentials and it will block the details, making the engineering object easier to use. Let's look at this example. We are not concerned about what is there inside this mobile phone, but definitely we are concerned with the outer part which we use. So we don't know what circuitry system or what wires, what processor has been used in this mobile smartphone. But definitely we are interested to use it. So ADT hides the inner structure and design of that data type. Let's look at the description of some important data structures. We'll study them one by one in the upcoming session. Now, array, when we talk about array is a linear data structure. Linked list is also a linear data structure, but array has its own limitations. That is, it cannot increase its memory, where we have in linked list, when we talk about the linked list, it has no restrictions towards the memory. Stack vertically stores the data, and queue horizontally stores the data. Okay, so stack is more of first in last out concept, and queue is more of first in first out concept. Then you have two different types of data structure. One is called as tree and another one is called as graph. Let's look at the classification of the data structure. Now, when we talk about the classification of the data structure, one very important thing which we can see is the data has been divided into linear and non-linear. Now, when we talk about the linear, the element in linear data structure form a linear sequence. Okay. For example, array, linked list, queue, and stack. Now, what is a non-linear then? The element in a non-linear data structure do not form any linear sequence. For example, tree and the stack. Okay. Now, let's look at what do we mean by the static data structure and the dynamic data structure. Now, when we say static data structure, these are those data structures whose memory occupation is fixed. That is, the memory taken by these data structure cannot be increased or decreased at runtime. And when we talk about the dynamic data structure whose memory occupation is not fixed, the memory taken by these data structure can be increased or decreased at the runtime. Linked list is the best example of dynamic data structure. Let's move on to the next one, that is homogeneous and non-homogeneous data structures. So when we say homogeneous data structure, these are those in which data of same type can be stored. For example, array stores homogeneous data type. And what is a non-homogeneous? Non-homogeneous data structure are those in which data of different types can be stored. Okay, just like linked list is a non-homogeneous data structure. Okay. This is the description which is available for your reference on the Moodle. Now let's go through two activities. The first activity is LeD 1.1. Let's click on this particular link and let's try to see what exactly it gives us. Okay, so we need to answer some quiz. We need to complete this activity. Which of the following data structure is a nonlinear data structure? Graph. Which of the following data structure can't store the non-homogeneous data elements? Non-homogeneous data elements. Array stores homogeneous. Records will also have homogeneous. Stack. Let's see. Which of the following is not the part of ADT description? Abstract data structure. Encapsulation, abstraction, data operations. Let's submit and check. Okay, we need to provide with the email ID for this quiz which we have provided. Let's submit it. Let's view the score. Okay, all the answers were wrong. So we can retake the test again. Okay, you can try this particular activity and just you can check your performance. Then you can click on another link. let's click on this and let's see what we have. Data structure crosswords. So let me click on this. Whose memory occupation is not fixed. Dynamic. Let me answer and see. Correct. Let's click on 2. Hiding the basic details. Encapsulation. Let's enter. Correct. Let's click on 3rd and see. Do not form any linear sequence. Non-linear. Let's check. Okay, it's correct. We are doing good with the crossword activity. First in, first out. That's Q. Enter. It's correct. Let's click on 5. First in, last out. That's stack. Correct. Let's check on this. Whose memory occupation is fixed? Static data structure, as we had seen. Let's enter and check. Oh wow, your score is 70%. That's good. What we need to do is, you need to practice both these activities. Before we go for the algorithm chapter, please do practice both these activities.